Everybody like, are you ready to go? Ready to go? Everybody like,
Alright, what is going on, y'all? So here and welcome back to my story mode. Today, we're going to be covering and analyzing and going in depth regarding all of the gameplay that was shown off today in the Nintendo Treehouse Live for Age of Calamity. So, why don't we hop into it? First things first, we have Urbosa here. Now, actually, before I get into anything, they did show off a little bit of Pikmin 3, and while I do actually want to play Pikmin 3, I mean, it's just a port, you know, it's port with a lot of extra content and stuff like that, and it looks neat and everything, and I would like to get my hands on it, but this game is 100% prioritized, so that's why I haven't covered anything regarding Pikmin 3, because I don't know anything about Pikmin. There's really nothing for me to cover, but okay, we're disregarding that. Why don't we go ahead and actually start hopping into the gameplay here? We jumped right in, and I'm so sorry for that. That's just how I roll, and I would do face cam, but I don't trust my computer with that anymore. I mean, it's been doing an okay job so far, but anyway, disregarding that, let's talk about it. So, here we have a gameplay, our first ever gameplay of Urbosa. We did see some clips here and there of her going up against some of the Yigas and stuff like that. And, you know, it makes sense that the Yigas are just, I don't know what set the Yigas off this time around, because apparently I completely forgot that Yiga are defected, Sheikah, which explains why their powers are so similar. That's something that I brought up in the last, gameplay, discussion that I did. I completely forgot what the Yiga were. But, you know, obviously there's some crazy history here that we're gonna learn firsthand with Urbosa right now. Or maybe not, I don't know, but one of our main objectives is to defeat the Yiga Master. It's gonna show up at some point. I forgot where. I saw the screenshot. We're supposed to defeat the Yiga Master. That's who we're up against. The Yiga clan is in full force. They want to go to war. They're fighting. They're going for the whole town. Maybe this is where all the Vos are. All right. I don't know if you've noticed, but all of the Sheikah males just don't exist. I'm sorry. Whoa. I lost train of thought real bad. I completely disregarded the fact that these are Gerudo. What their beef is with the Gerudo, I have no idea. They're just that annoying, which is really funny to me. They don't mess with anybody else, but the Gerudo, no, they can't have it with them. I don't know what that is, but regardless of the problem, Urbosa, like the queen she is taking them down with some powerful lightning attacks and stuff like that. Now, obviously, they did go over a lot of her attacks and stuff like that. They were very in-depth about it during the gameplay, so there's really not all that much for me to explain. It's literally me just kind of giving my 2 cents on it. It's very interesting that she uses that blade. While she uses that blade, you have the option to charge it up, right? You can charge it up whenever you want. Okay. Oh, and they did show off this little neat feature where a lot of the doors are open, so you could just kind of walk into shops that are familiar from Breath of the Wild. They literally took the world of Breath of the Wild and turned it into a Warriors game. It's so sick. It's so sick. I love it so much. I'm so happy. Oh my god, we get to pound we get to hound them. You know what I'm saying? With Urbosa walk. Oh, I love it so much. And I lost my mind when I saw Zelda in the background over there. I completely missed her the first time around, and I feel bad about that because Zelda's one of the most, I think I'm most excited to play as Zelda more than anybody, and you'll see why in a bit, but honestly, Urbosa is so slick with it. Look at her. Boink. I love her. She's such a god. She's such a beast. So, anyhow, so all they did was secure the town, and then they immediately, I forgot how fast they switched over to Zelda. Now, Zelda is such an interesting character. Like, I'm really surprised that she has so much control over the slate, because again, based on the memories that we saw, Zelda had 0 control over the slate, and she had no access to the shrines at all. But in this, she has very, very smooth control over that slate. Like, she's summoning boxes from nowhere. She's using Cryonis, everything. Like, she has amazing control over it, and it's so interesting to watch her fight with this. And she's summoning things that we didn't even know existed, like that big bomb thing, that big walking bomb that looks kind of like the Guardian, but in, you know, the slate bomb form, and then just the big rolly bombs. What's going on with that? You know what I'm saying? It's so weird. It's so interesting. I want to know more. Like, I really want to know how she got such good control. And then she uses the camera and it rips a page and explodes these people. Like, it makes you, doesn't it make you think? It makes you wonder, like, what happened? What's going on with that slate? Where did all the powers go? Because that slate 100 years ago, that thing was a beast. That thing was an absolute monster, putting people in the trash cans for fun. It's crazy how strong that slate was, using cryonis on land, using pictures to blow things up, blow up people by their heads. Like, what? All we had in Breath of the Wild was an identification feature where if you took a picture with something, it could identify what it was for you and tell you where to find more. But you can use it as an attack in Age of Calamity? What? Why weren't we sitting there taking pictures again, and what happened? Like, Zelda, I know you got control of your powers and everything, but why didn't you use that thing against Ganon? That would have been an absolute nasty threat. I don't understand. I want to know what that's about and why we don't have a power like that in Breath of the Wild. Like, what happened to weaken the slate, per se? Because Zelda got a hold of it and she was a master of that thing. I mean, hell, so was Link, you know, but I don't even think Link was a master of it to the extent that Zelda was, because I think overall it was her slate. And, you know, again, based on what we saw, that was not a power we're familiar with. Her being able to summon that big walking bomb. What? We had no idea, no high nor hair of any of that. So it's like, what in God's good name is Nintendo cooking up there with this lore? Because that's interesting. Like, why did it get so much weaker? I want to know. I'm very curious. Yeah, but anyway, so they switched back over to Urbosa, and she's slaying some ass like the god she is. And I think that, yeah, they show a cutscene right now of the what's called the Molduga. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. But they show off the Molduga, a boss that you are able to fight in Breath of the Wild, and it's just kind of just casually, this is where it lives. You know, this is its home right here, and you can fight that thing. But it's very dangerous. Did we fight that thing? Maybe I wasn't paying attention to it. Oh yeah, and so yeah, I was so thrown off by the pause menu as well. That's something I just didn't throw, like, it wasn't until then that I realized, like, just how similar or just how closely related this game was to Breath of the Wild, which they quit out of it. I was so sad they quit out of the whole fight. We didn't even get to see the fight. I'm upset. I wanted to see them slay ass against that Molduga, bro. But either way, the pause menu looks exactly like Breath of the Wild, and then not only that, but we go out to the map that looks identical to Breath of the Wild without the shrines. The shrines don't exist, I guess. But the tower, I think in the midst of this, they're going to be raising the towers using that little guardian, because if you saw earlier in the gameplay, the little guardian is still following you. He's still right on your ass. So I guess, and you know what? That little symbol right there, I think that's pointing to your next main mission. I think that's where they expect you to go next. Unless it's that big one right in the middle right there with the swords clashing. But obviously, there's a fight over there that's very important for whatever reason. I don't know why, I don't know what, but he wants you to do it. And, you know, he's cute. He's a little cutie. So I'm going to do the mission. All right? Don't doubt me. It's going to happen. I'm going to make it happen, Captain. All right? Whatever the problem is, I'm going to take care of it. So, speaking of problems, they're actually going to do a side quest. And it's going to be kind of, not a problem per se, but they're getting ready to do a side quest to train? Or maybe they're just practicing weapons. I don't know what the importance of the mission itself was, but before going into it, they showed off this feature, and I kind of figured, I was really thinking about that. I'm like, how are the weapons gonna work in this game? And you can pick out any weapon you want. You can use that level 1 Baklabin thing. You can use the ladle, for God's sakes. But what's super sick to me, which is something I almost wish they did in Breath of the Wild, it makes me so happy that they did this, is you pick up all these weapons, and, you know, obviously not all of them are going to be very useful to you. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to power up one of your strongest weapons. So you're going to sack off all of the trash weapons that you know you aren't going to use. So they sacked off some they picked one sword. They picked one main sword, their best sword, the sword that they want to use. I think they picked the weakest one. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's like some kind of demo version or something that they're using. But they powered up the sledgehammer. Oh, I'm sorry. Why did I think they picked the sword? I knew they picked the sledgehammer. But they powered up a sledgehammer using all the swords that they know they're not going to use, because you can use any of those weapons. Just like Breath of the Wild, any weapon that you find, you can use. So I guess the same applies to Hyrule Warriors, which is sick. Difference is, they don't break. Even though Link is stronger, he still knows how to take care of the weapons. this Link built different. This ain't the same boy. This ain't the same man we know in Breath of the Wild. 100-year-old, the Link we got is an old man. I think that's what the problem is. We got this young little stud right here, this young little mastermind with the weapons. He's utilizing every weapon to its fullest extent without even breaking it. Meanwhile, we got old man 100-year-old Link busting up weapons left and right because he doesn't know how to swing it properly. He lost all his training. Obviously, I'm exaggerating here, but it's very interesting to see that he utilized weapons in this way, because we didn't utilize weapons like that at all. Sacrificing weapons to make other weapons stronger, like, unless I'm completely forgetting a mechanic, this is not something that I remember at all. But either way, I'm very happy it exists in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, because that gives a ton, in fact, of replayability. All right, maybe there's a super hard mission that you need to level up, and you just need to get stronger to participate in said mission. I don't know if they're going to be level locked or if it's just going to have a recommended level or anything like that, but I mean, I'm assuming that's how it goes. So obviously you're going to want to revisit some other levels, or maybe visit some new levels that you haven't visited before, that are, even though they're like clearly weaker, you can get your hands on some different weapons and stuff like that, some different drops that you can use to sacrifice to power up, your other weapons. All right, look at this soldier's broadsword. It's only level 1. Why use this level 1 broadsword that you haven't leveled up at all when you could switch over to this powerful ass sledgehammer? All right, and they're gonna get to it in a second. This sledgehammer is the sickest thing. Like, it makes you wonder why you even bother picking up heavy weapons in Breath of the Wild. It's such a trip to me. Maybe it's because it's, from what we've seen, maybe it's because it's just a me thing. But if y'all know me, you know I like my anime, and anything very anime-like is going to be very exciting to me. So in comparison to Breath of the Wild, which is very good, I love Breath of the Wild to death, one of the best Legend of Zelda games of all time, easy. There's no competition there. Oh, I completely forgot to mention the fact that they changed clothes. Clothes changing is just as natural as it is in Breath of the Wild. However, I don't see any stats. I'm looking at it and I don't see any stats. I think costume is just that. Costumes. You can't do anything significant with outfit changes in this game. It's just for looks, and you can change your looks whenever. At least you can with Link. I think Link is, I mean, obviously he's gonna be the most what's the word, not equipable, the most customizable character in the game, because I doubt you're gonna be able to change the outfits of like Urbosa, Daruk, anybody like that. Maybe Zelda. I don't know how they feel about that. Maybe they'll let us change Zelda or something like that. I really don't know, but obviously they're staying very true to Breath of the Wild, and at the very least, giving us the opportunity to modify Link. I meant to cut this part out. I'm so sorry. That's my bad. I completely just disregarded this part entirely. I tried to cut out, before I analyzed anything, before I started deep diving into any of this, I tried to make sure that I got any of the fluff out, but obviously I couldn't manage to get it. Damn, that sucks, but tis what tis, man. Tis what tis, and whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying, big fella. But and I was looking at this, and I can't really. It's hard for me to identify everybody besides the champions. I missed somebody. But anyway, so this is a mission called Link Two-Handed Weapons, and you're gonna see right now he's fighting all these different soldiers, and look at how he utilizes this heavy weapon. This is how he uses a two-handed weapon. This is how he used a two-handed weapon 100 years ago. He handled it like it was one! And even though it's not even all that long, first off, did you see the blade that came out of that thing? He's swinging that thing like he's Sephiroth. He's taking down enemies like the freaking long blade that Sephiroth has. It has crazy reach. Alright, look at this. Even the Hylian captains are using some crazy abilities. Like, what? I want to know what these powers are. Like, what? Is there any significance to that? Or is my man's just that strong? Like, wow, they were prepared. They were prepping for Calamity Ganon. They really were, and that goes to show, like, they didn't waste any time. That's crazy to me, how powerful these characters are, even the little guys like the Hylian captain. And even Link, the way he's utilizing this sledgehammer. I don't know if this is how all two-handed swords work. I mean, this is based on what I'm seeing here. I mean, it works so well. Like, the sledgehammer is being swung around and thrown into a ground like a hammer. So it's like, I don't know if that's, I can't tell you if that's how all of them work. It's very hard to tell. But yeah, this man is a threat, and they just kept whipping out. They were being real good with it. They were whipping out a lot of different unique abilities and moves throughout this entire fight. Like there's stuff that I just didn't expect to come out. Like whenever I was just like, okay, we've seen all of this character's moveset with this weapon. Nah, they whip out something else. Like it's gonna be crazy. And you know for a fact, this threw me off too. So those rods that you picked up, we talked about this in the last video, in the last analysis video. They pick up rods. They pick up ice rods, flame rods, I think lightning rods. I don't know if I missed that or if I'm just tripping. But they picked up a bunch of different rods that you could just get from random bosses and stuff as drops throughout the fights. And I don't know if those have a limit or anything. I'm assuming they do, because the way they drop isn't anything special. So I'm going to assume they have a limit. And you can utilize those rods as magic whenever you want. So I got scared for a minute earlier when I first saw the gameplay. I thought I was going crazy because I thought I saw Link use Cryonis and he just shot ice down from the sky. I'm like, that I was about to yell because of how weak. I thought Link was literally that weak. Like it terrified me. But that wasn't necessarily the case. He just used rods. But even then, the rods, they even utilized the rods better. And stasis. What? They utilized the rods in a better way than they do in Breath of the Wild, because in Breath of the Wild, it was simply, you know, with the fire rod, you'd make balls bounce. They would just kind of fly everywhere. Oh, yep, there's a lightning. That's what tripped me out. Yeah, with the fire rod, you would have just bouncing balls, just hope you get your opponent before they move out of the way. You know, the ice rod, you just kind of blow a thin layer of ice right out in front of you. But no, in Age of Calamity, during this time, they're so prepped for war that they taught themselves to use the ice rod to shoot gigantic balls of ice into the ground from the sky. That is so threatening. That is so scary. That's so strong. Like, good God. How do maybe I'm the only one. I can't be the only one flipping out about this. It's so unique. It's so interesting to me how strong they are. You know, and look at this man. He's crazy. Look at him go. He was like that one dude from Hero 108. Does anybody remember that cartoon? Man's ate a banana and he was practically a god. You saw, look at the way Link eats. He doesn't take time like he does. Like, I'm gonna refer to him as Old Man Breath of the Wild Link from now on. Old Man Link is how I'm gonna refer to Breath of the Wild Link from now on, because in Breath of the Wild, he eats him like, he eats him at a nice pace. He just kind of, pats his stomach. He's satisfied. He's good with it. Good meal. This man rips, he rips the meat off that chicken. He rips the meat off that bone like some kind of menace. Like he hasn't been fed in months. Like he's in the middle of battle. Even like in Breath of the Wild, even if he's in the middle of battle, he'll just take his time. Good meal. This man said, "Come here. Let's go!" And he bodies anybody in his path. He's an absolute threat, and it's such a trip to me the way I'm starting to think this Link isn't even the same. Like he has a completely different personality overall. And eating, I guess, maybe it's just, I don't know if it's just for this weapon or what, but he eats and he gets stronger. They did mention that you can eat before the battle and you can get like some power-ups and stuff like that to utilize throughout the battle, or maybe it's a limited time during the battle or something strange like that. I'm not entirely sure at all. Wow, he took Daruk out like nobody's business. What a threat. So anyway, but yeah, so I'm not sure what's part of what. Like, I don't know if all of the food that he ate during this is just food that he picked up or cooked earlier, or if it's part of the attack. It's very hard for me to tell. It's very hard for me to tell. Either way, so the last segment that they showed off here was with Impa. We got young Impa again. She's utilizing the rods. We see her again with the shadow clones and everything like that, and she's fighting a mess of moblins. by herself. I don't know where everybody's at, but I swear to God, if somebody doesn't come and help her, I'm gonna do it myself, and y'all don't want me coming up in there finding out that y'all didn't help my girl Impa. I'm gonna be very upset, and y'all don't want to see me when I'm upset. I'm about to look like Link when he consumes that chicken. You don't want that work. You do not want that mess. Alright? Anyway, so we're gonna see a little more of her jutsus here, and she summoned the Toad this time. What are these powers? Like, they're so crazy. Like, there was nothing like that anywhere in Breath of the Wild to read about to showcase that they were able to summon stuff like that. Like, summon a big-ass toad? That, what? What? Where do they, what? That's insane. That's so crazy. I feel like I've repeated that so many times, and I apologize, but that's just how it is for me right now. It's so, I need to not say that word. Wild. I've probably said that too. Anyway, we have Impa fighting this Hinox, and this thing is very, very bulky. And, you know, they're taking their time with it. They're really, you know, dodging around, utilizing, just getting rid of everything in the surrounding environments. And this is where they utilize her special attack. Right there. And I don't think that's the only one that they showcased either. But Impa utilizes a lot of bomb attacks. She utilizes for her specials. She throws big barreled bombs at her opponent, and it's very threatening, and it does a lot of damage clearly. And even while in stasis, oh my gosh, she was throwing down with this man's body. He couldn't do anything. Here we go again. Is this the same attack? Oh no, it is not. That what is that? That is what's crazy to me. Man, there's so much to look at here. I don't know if it was in the original gameplay, but you can see they're up in there in the top corner that there's a lot of glowing and stuff going on, and you know I can't tell what that is, but I'm sure it has to do a lot with her summoning and stuff like that. So I don't know, but I don't want to ignore what's going on up there. Anyway, after using about one more special or so, they don't even finish off the Hinox before they get back into, or before they leave, actually. That's pretty much it. They don't really give us anything more after that at all. But it was very pleasant to watch all the girls in action. It was really awesome to see all these characters get utilized in such an awesome way, and I'm looking very much forward to Age of Calamity. This is going to be a tight game. I'm very excited to use Urbosa and Zelda. I think I'm looking forward to, yeah, honestly, those three everybody. Like, I can't wait to see it. I'm surprised they didn't utilize Mipha at all. You know, maybe it's because they were just focused on this general area. I don't know. I'm just surprised they didn't show off Mipha in this gameplay. You know, they were utilizing all the girls. Why not Mipha? Just saying. But I think that's gonna go ahead and do it for this video. I'm sorry that this is such a, it probably sounds and feels like a rush job, but I'm actually having fun doing this. I love doing breakdowns and discussions and just talking about what's in front of me and just delving deep into everything that they offer us, because they give us so much but never enough, and we'll just never be satisfied until we finally have that game in our hands, and I'm very excited for that day. So for now, all we can do is speculate and get excited and just keep watching this gameplay over and over until we pass out damn near. So yeah, anyway, that's gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and skedaddle on out of here. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the absolute greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.